You ever hear that sound in the pit of your stomach that feels like the city itself is holding its breath? That eerie calm when the wind cuts sharp through Ford Field shadows, and you know deep down you're about to hear something that changes everything? It's that feeling you get in Detroit when the air tastes like steel and rain, when the whispers from Allen Park carry across the river like gospel and rumor all at once. You feel it in your bones, like the huddle's breaking. And the play that's about to be called will either turn this season into a legend or burn it to the ground before we even hit September. Light up the comments if your faith in the Lions is unshakable. Because this right here isn't just another depth chart shuffle. This is the kind of move you make when your secondary is on the edge of a cliff and the ground is already crumbling. Under your cleats, behind closed doors, something's been shifting for weeks. Something you could see in the tightness of Dan Campbell's jaw, in the way the defensive backs coach lingered a little too long on his clipboard, in the way practice. Reps suddenly felt heavier, more desperate. Injuries aren't just hitting us, they're stalking us. One hamstring here, one awkward landing there, and suddenly you're looking around wondering if the guys lining up in coverage are going to be the same. Guys you finished the season with, and then bang, a name drops into the fire. Luke Barco. For the casual fan, it's just a transaction, a blip on the ticker. But for those of us who live and breathe this team, it's a flare shot into the night sky. This is the fifth corner we brought in a month, the second in a single day. And it's not because Brad Holmes is bored, it's because this roster is bleeding at a position where we can't afford to be fragile. Terrion Arnold's already nursing that hammy. Ennis Rakestraw's been knocked out for a while. Halil Dorsey's stuck on PUP, and Rock Ye-Sin is shifting towards safety. You don't need to be a coach to see the alarm lights flashing. Barco's not some undrafted nobody. This guy's been everywhere, bounced around the league, tore it up in the XFL in 2023 with the San Antonio Brahmas, picked off passes like there were slow floaters in the park, and brought the kind of swagger this city can feed off. 6'1", 175, long arms, ball hawk instincts, and a college season at San Diego State in 2019 that still reads like a fever dream. 9 interceptions, 16 pass breakups, a third-team All-American badge. This isn't just a camp body this. Is a guy who's clawed his way back into relevance with the kind of grit Detroit respects. And yet, you can't ignore what it says about where we're standing. 5 corners in 4 weeks means this front office is on red alert, patching holes faster than they open, praying the dam doesn't burst. But what if this isn't just survival? What if this is the move that quietly reloads the chamber for a playoff run no one saw coming? What if Barco's not here to fill a gap, but to steal a job outright? Think about it paired with DJ Reed's steadiness, Amick Robertson's edge, Arnold's eventual return. This could turn from weakness to weapon overnight. Or maybe, just maybe, it's the kind of gamble that leaves us exposed in January, wondering how we let the moment slip. Detroit's been here before, patching, fighting, refusing to fold, and every time the stakes have felt just a little higher. Now the fuse is lit, the pieces are moving, and the air is electric with the question none of us can shake. Is this the start of a defensive resurrection, or the prelude to a collapse we won't see coming until it's too late? Tear the sky open, Detroit. Rip it so wide that every ounce of pain, hope, rage, and pride we've been holding since the ghosts of 0 to 16 still stalk our dreams comes pouring out like a river of molten steel down Woodward Avenue. Because if you can't feel this one in your bones, if your heart's not thundering like a bass drum in the Ford Field stands, then you've forgotten what it means to bleed Honolulu blue. And right now, this is not just some dusty little roster move on a hot August afternoon. This is the spark that can set an entire division on fire. The kind of shift that makes the Packers film rooms hum with panic, that makes Bears corners toss and turn all night wondering how they're going to survive one-on-ones, that forces the Vikings to speak our name in meetings they swore they'd never fear. And if you think Dan Campbell doesn't sense it, you haven't been watching that man's eyes when he's in the war room, leaning over the table like a general who smelled blood on the wind. Because this secondary we've been duct taping together through bruises, strains, and sheer willpower is starting to look less like a patch job and more like a trapdoor waiting to slam shut on the NFC North. And yeah, I remember every damn second of our misery. Dan Orlovsky running out the back of the end zone like it was yesterday. Calvin Johnson hanging up his cleats when he still had gas in the tank. Barry Sanders walking away while we were still begging for more. Jim Caldwell shown the door after winning seasons. The wild card collapses that sucked the air out of the city. The nights we sat in freezing stands staring at the scoreboard, knowing it was over before the fourth quarter even started. And maybe that's why this signing, this moment, feels like an earthquake under our feet. Because Luke Barco isn't some throwaway practice squad filler. He's a signal flare in the dark, the fifth cornerback we've brought in a month, the second in a single day, and that tells you two things. One, Brad Holmes isn't sleeping. And two, the injuries are real, deep, and dangerous. Terrion Arnold with a hammy on ice. Ennis Rakestraw sidelined for a while. Halil Dorsey stuck on PUP. Rock Ya-Sin floating. Between corner and safety like a shadow in transition. And you know what that means. It means every healthy defensive back is looking over his shoulder right now. Every drill is a knife fight for reps. Every huddle a silent contest of who wants it more. And into that storm walks Barco, 6'1" with long arms built to snatch the ball out of the air. A ball hawk who carved his name into San Diego State history with 9 picks, 16 pass breakups, 55 tackles in a single season. A third-team All-American who refused to disappear after going undrafted in 2020, who bounced around the league, earned all XFL honors in 2023 with the San Antonio Brahmas, and now steps into our house, not to just hold a spot but to steal one. Because you don't fight through that kind of journey to play soft. You fight through it to make quarterbacks pay for testing you. And that's exactly what this could become. A defense that doesn't just survive injuries, but turns them into opportunities to ambush the league. Imagine DJ Reed locking down one side, Ahmed Robertson bringing that edge, Arnold coming back hungry, and Barco flying in with the hunger of a man who's been told no more times than most players here, yes. Imagine the coverage. Disguises, the press looks that morph into bait. The interceptions that flip momentum in playoff games we've been dreaming about since last January. And think about what this says to the rest of the NFC, that Detroit isn't just plugging leaks. We're loading the torpedoes, and if you're Green Bay, you start wondering if Love's deep ball is going to hang up long enough for Barco to get under it. If you're Chicago, you're already asking if Fields can throw outside the numbers without risking 6 the other way. If you're Minnesota, you're picturing Jefferson double-teamed with a rookie and a journeyman waiting to jump his routes, and yeah, maybe this all sounds too big for one signing. Maybe it's just a camp battle and nothing more. But if you've been around this team long enough, you know the biggest shifts start quiet in the margins, in the August heat when no one's watching, and then they explode on Sundays. And right now, Detroit is a pressure cooker, the lid rattling harder with each transaction, each injury, each whispered rumor from the front office about liking our depth, which we all know is code for we're not done yet, so you tell me. Lions Nation, is this the first domino in a chain that ends with Ford Field shaking under playoff banners? Or is it the kind of high-stakes gamble that will leave us staring at another? What could have been while the rest of the NFC laughs? Because one way or another, this fuse is burning, and when it blows, there's no telling who's going to survive the blast.